Okay, so for topic number 2, we're going to be dealing with multiplying and dividing inequalities. So we're first going to look at an example of some numbers here and then compound inequality statement. 1 is less than 2, which is less than 3, which is less than 4, which is less than 5. Okay, so let's see what happens when we multiply each number by 10. So we get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now this still seems to be true. Now let's actually try to multiply it by negative 10. So looking at the first two pieces, it says negative 10 is less than negative 20. Well, that's not true anymore. So we know that negative 20, the bigger the negative number, the less it is. So it doesn't seem to be true for any of these. Okay, well let's look at a comparison at the bottom here. What numbers make each inequality true? So if we were to do this the same way we were solving the inequalities with plus and minus, we would get x is less than or equal to 3. Let's see if that makes sense. If we plug it back in, 2 times 3 is less than or equal to 6. Alright, that seems correct, because we could also pick a number less than 3, according to this, and it would still work. Alright, let's try the next one. Okay, so it looks like we'd get less than or equal to negative 3. Let's plug that in and see what happens. Alright, well, we know that two negatives make a positive. Alright, so that part seems to work, but let's try, as it says here, it has to be less than or equal to negative 3. Let's try negative 4. See, it does not work anymore because 8 is not less than or equal to 6. So let's see what happens if we were to think of a number maybe bigger than negative 3. Crossing out this for a second. If we tried negative 2. So that would be negative 2 times negative 2 less than or equal to 6. Well, that would make it 4 less than or equal to 6. Well, that works. Okay, so looking at our next slide here, we'll make a conclusion. It says when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to reverse the inequality sign. So that seems to be a new rule. Let's see what that means. So we'll take a look at this first one. I'm still going to solve this like an equation, but I have to keep in mind this new rule. So whenever I multiply or divide by a negative number, I reverse the inequality sign. So that's going to be b is less than negative 7. Okay, looking at the one to the right, this is just like equations. We know we have to multiply both sides by negative 6. So notice we're multiplying by negative. We're going to get y is greater than, remembering when we multiply fractions, it's across the top, across the bottom. Alright, I can reduce that a little bit. Y is greater than negative 4. So I'd like you guys to try doing some of those on the bottom. Remember, you only flip the sign if you multiply or divide by a negative. Alright, so same idea here with the first section. We're writing the inequalities, not necessarily solving them, just to make sure we know how to write them. So taking a look at the first one here, 4 times a number is no more than 108. So 4 times a number is no more than 108. Is no more than. So that means it could be less than, it could be equal to, but not more than. So I'd like to write it this way. Okay. Next one, 1/5 of a number 1/5 of some number, 1/5 times x, of typically means multiply, is at most 30, meaning most, meaning it can't be more than that, it could be less, so it looks like we're at another less than or equal to situation. So it looks like if we were to see the word at least, we would probably have it the other way around. Alright, so you could pause the video and try the U-try here, and then that will be it.